Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode on the Velocity channel. Yes, this is live, and yes, we are making sure that you know how to retire. Not in 20 years. Come on. Nobody has time for that. Not in 40 years. Definitely not in 40 years. All right. But in 9 years, right? In 7 years, in 5 years, possibly in 3 years. All because of where you're putting your money. Okay. So let's go ahead and change this video up. It's going to be velocity banking. And it really does. It really does. Once you see the uh, the name of the live, it really does change everything. I gotta give a shout out to Credit Plug. He uh, he said, "What's going on, George?" He said, "Game changer." One of his favorite words are game changer. This is gonna be a game changer. And let me tell you, a lot of the stuff that he comes across, man. I'm talking about like Langley Federal Credit Union. I got that from him. Langley Federal Credit Union is amazing, and I don't know. Some would even say that it's better than Navy Federal Credit Union. Boy, I got to give a shout out to Langley Federal Credit Union. Definitely got to give a shout out to Credit Plug. If you guys need lines of credit, Langley Federal Credit Union, Navy Federal Credit Union, PinFed. Brittany, I know you know this one. Um, this couple was like, you know what, we're going to go ahead and we are going to consult with CJ. So they paid a minimum fee at the time of, I believe it's $97. And these jokers got $33,000 in lines of credit. So can you do velocity banking with $33,000 in lines of credit? Yes. Yes. The simple answer is yes. So it was just amazing. Luck and search. I mean, do you like your credit union? Can you get that sort of lines of credit right at your credit union? This is a true story. So how long did it take them? Okay, so they paid on Monday, and then I think it was that day they contacted the bank, and then maybe next week. So I'll just do the safe answer. It was probably about 7 to 10 business days that they were able to get that 33,000 in lines of credit. But check this out, man. $97, right? If you could do the math, and then you get $33,000. I'm like, man, what a return. You know what I mean? That's a return on investment there. Okay, so all right, Linda, we'll go ahead and get back in touch with you. Linda, guess what? She said, you know what, CJ, I want to go ahead and I want to make sure that I'm building the capital the right way. And so she went ahead and committed. She's an agent now. You know what I mean? She's working with us now to make sure that the banking enterprise is as it should be, right? Now, not too many people will be on board with this, but with Velocity Banking, we're showing people how, yes, you can get the 30-year mortgage, you can get the 40-year mortgage. You may need to suffer through a 12% interest rate if you're going with a car loan or any other loan, but you don't have to pay that. Just because it says you're going to pay 6%, you're going to pay, what's the national average on the mortgage? 7.23%. You're going to pay 7.23% on your 30-year mortgage, and da, 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 da. Our people are not. And our agents are telling our people how they can reduce it to as little as 0.96% in some cases. Okay. That's the effective interest rate they'll be paying. So 0.96, right? Not 7.23. Huh? 1.23, not 7.23. And you can go ahead and write that down in the comments below. We actually show you how to do that, right? It's powerful. Yeah, isn't that a bargain? Isn't that a bargain, George? I'm telling you. It says, I'm with a credit union that lets me transfer money from my credit card to checking account, but they only do hard pulls. What would you suggest and how often? Look and search, man, that's a great question. And I'm glad you actually asked me that. This is what I suggest right here. Watch this. This is what I suggest right here. Okay. Do what people as serious as you do, right? And we're going to pin that message right there. Why? Because we want to show you. Because many times we know that seeing is believing. There was someone that attended our webinar this past Tuesday, and they said, man, this is too good to be true. I'm serious. They said it. They said, man, this is too good to be true. And that's why I show you guys the demonstration, right? On the whiteboard. And then sometimes I pause. It's not for effect. It's so that the information can actually sink in. Because if you were anything like me, I was there on my bed like, what? You know, why did I not get taught this sooner? And so I laid down on my bed and was like, huh? Just staring at the ceiling. Why? Because I, too, was saying this is too good to be true. Man, I was talking to a realtor today, and he said, how? I was letting them know that people are actually paying down their 30-year mortgages in as little as 5 to 10 years. He was like, huh? How is that? What are you doing? And he was trying to draw it out of me. I was like, man, I got to show you. I got to show you. I'm going to show you. I can't just say because you're not going to get it. Okay. And I'm not being condescending, right? I'm just saying, I need you to get it. That way you can't say, well, it's a story or he was trying to persuade me. I do the numbers. That way you can see, right? This is how they're paying it off, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And so I show you by the numbers. Huh? You are a numbers person. You are a numbers person. You make decisions, financial decisions, not by the story, but by the number. All right? By the numbers. Okay. So look, Connie says, my bank lets me attach my credit card for overdraft protection. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to pay my mortgage with my credit card. Connie, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. May I ask you to do something before you do that, though? Because you know that I like going through thoroughly, making sure you're all right and making sure you're protected. You probably know everything to do, right, with a velocity banking concept. But may I ask, go ahead and schedule a call with us before you do. I'll be on there, right? And our teammate will be on there as well. Why? Because wealth building, as you know, is a team sport. And we believe in accountability. Okay. And so you're going to have two professionals on there making sure that what you're doing is correct. All right. How does that sound to you? How does that sound? Does that sound like a plan, Connie? Absolutely. Hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, you may not even need it, you know, but hey, I'm just throwing it out there towards you. That's awesome. I think that's an awesome, awesome idea. So awesome. Okay. Yes, that's right. You got to be a numbers person, especially nowadays, right? My, oh, my apple pie. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you here. We've got a lot to go over. Oh, my goodness. And I know we got lots and lots of questions here too. So let me do this here. First of all, I actually want to show you on the notes what I have here. Because I think it'll be something that'll give value to you. Okay. All right, I'm going to screen share from the Remarkable first, and then I will screen share from Zoom. That way you see it. All right. All right, let me know if you see it. Okay, it says that the screen share is on now. It was loading. Remember yesterday we were talking about income segregation. Just a quick recap, maybe a 10-second recap. Somebody, I was on the phone with them and they said, man, because my last name is Wallace, and they were like, are you related to George Wallace? And I said, no, I don't think so. And but if you know anything about George Wallace, he was big into segregation, and a lot of people are big into income segregation. They're big into this right here, but many times that's not always the best thing for someone. And that's why when you see your income come in, you leave it in your checking account. And then the velocity bankers, what they do is they place a large portion of that to their line of credit. And then from their line of credit, they're able to pay their expenses, even their loans, like Connie, the mortgages, car loans, any loan from their line of credit, because they're taking that compound interest, that amortized loan, and they're switching it out with the simple interest, because they understand that there's two different calculations there, right? It's like Celsius and Fahrenheit, right? 32 degrees Celsius is different than 32 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm telling you now, right? So it is with the loans, right? Mortgage, you're talking about 6%. And in the minds of the people, the bankers know that. They think they're going to equate 6% to 6%, because in school we were taught that 21 was bigger than 6, but no one taught us, oh, wait, those are two different calculations, right? And we actually did a video on how amortized those loans, how the compound interest, right? How that payment is calculated, the $200,000 at 6%. We show you where to get that from. I know it's mind-boggling. However, right, we know the trick now, and we can switch out that type of loan with that simple interest. So there, right? Many times you're seeing 6%. Anytime you see 6%, what they really mean is 115%. But it's up to you to see the table, right? The amortization table. Einstein, he said compound interest, well, it's accredited to him as saying compound interest. I don't know how he sounded. Compound interest, I think he was German, is the eighth wonder of the world, right? And it is. And it can work against you if you don't know what you're doing. And it can work for you if you do know what you're doing. So remember, when they say 6%, a lot of times, right, 7.23%, right, as the national interest rate for the mortgages are concerned, it may be higher right now. Many times they mean 115%. But you can't sell anybody on that. So you got to say 6%. And they're not lying. It is 6%. In a different calculation, right? You say, oh man, it can't mean that, because they have all these laws and these regulations. You got to tell the Truth in Lending Act. Yeah, and it's there. It's there in the paperwork. Check. Just check through all of those papers. They'll show you, and they'll say, this is not your interest rate. Before we go further, I just want to give a shout out to all my realtors that are velocitized. All my realtors who have been velocitized, okay? And I call them this. I call them velocirealtors. I call them velocirealtors because they're showing their people, and they're really fiduciaries. They're showing their people how to pay off their mortgages, because some are first-time home buyers. And how many of you know, man, you want to have a good experience, especially in your first home, Now, of course, this isn't only for mortgages, okay? It's for any loan. But You want to have the best experience you can, especially as your first home. I mean, your spouse is there, your significant others there, maybe kids, your community, whoever it is that's around you. You want to celebrate. And what better way to celebrate than your realtor saying, now that you got the house, here's how to pay it off in as little as 5 to 10 years. You're no longer a realtor at that point. Okay. You're a Velocity realtor. When your mortgage broker goes up to you and he says, hey, now that congratulations on your loan, let me show you how to pay it off now. They are velocilenders. They're not lenders. They're velocilenders now. You ever heard of the velociraptor? Absolutely devastating dinosaur, science says. They are now velociraptors, they're velocilenders, and we are releasing them to the public. You're welcome. All right. All right. Wesley says, I own $350K on my mortgage, a duplex. Oh, man. Let me congratulate you. Let me congratulate you on that duplex. All right. And I have $80,000 on my savings. Should I put this money towards the principal? Hey, all right, George. Should I put this money towards the principal in that sum, Connie? Or buy another house or duplex or fourplex? You know what? Let me just say this before I answer your question with this automated velocity banking. I'm going to answer Wesley's question. So everybody, please pay attention. Please share this. Please gather someone around because I'm going to answer his question right now. Gather everyone you can around. We're going to show you, okay, what to do in that situation, Wesley. That's a good question. All right. Before we do that, let me just share with you something. The 69%, the 70%, the 42.6%, the 115%, that's a good deal. For the bank. Now, let me go ahead and pull this up here for you. And we're going to put Wesley's number in here. And we're just going to stop that for 1 minute. And we're going to answer that question, Wesley, okay? Great question. We got to answer it. Let me reset the account. Very easy to do. We just do it like here. We just do it like so. And then we'll log in. How do you spell Bessemer? Bessemer? Okay. Here we go, Wesley. Yeah, you might as well go ahead and pull up, eat your dinner right now while you're watching. You can grab yourself a nice ice cold beverage because I'm going to show you what to do right here. Okay. And for a more in-depth, because something tells me, Wesley, I need to get more in-depth with you. So go ahead and let's schedule that further conversation. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to answer your question. Here's the link to schedule that conversation. I'm going to answer you right now, though. All right. So this is what I want to do. Let me share my screen so you see what I'm doing right now. I just want to demonstrate to you here from the Money Max itself. All right. Right here, these are different numbers, but you see that there's a negative cash flow of $66.47. They're bleeding every, you know what I mean? The time frame, boom, 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 boom. However, right, they still got an action plan and they're still gonna pay off the signature loan, the auto loan, the MasterCard, and their mortgage. Look at the amounts that they got to pay off. Still gonna pay them all off in 16.7 years, right? Now, one would ask, how in the world can you be hemorrhaging every month, right? But still able to pay it off? The numbers. What time does the income come in? What time is the expenses? That's what the action plan is for. It's all about timing. You ever heard of the saying, time is money? That's what they mean, right? So let's reset the account. I want to go in and I'm going to do the checking and savings method. Wesley, I'm going to reset it right now. Now look, your income may be much more, your expenses may be much less, or vice versa, right? I want you to check out the concept of what we're doing live, okay? So I'm gonna take this number here. It says own 350 on the mortgage, a duplex. All right, and 80,000. All right, perfect, perfect. Let's see what the budget is on this one. Now, this is a reset account. This is John and Rebecca Jones, right? They got a monthly income of $5,000, monthly expenses of $4,036.67. That leaves them with an average discretionary, or otherwise known as cash flow, of $963.33. Okay, they got the mortgage right here, right? But what I want to do is I want to change up the mortgage. I want to change up the mortgage. All right. And Wesley said 350K, right? Let's do that. Let's put that in there right fast. Is that okay? So we need another zero. That's 350,000. And then all we're going to do here is we're going to multiply 350 by that 0.06 here, and it's going to be roughly the payment's going to be roughly that, right? It's not going to be. Now you probably got at 7 or maybe 3 or 4% or even 7%. I know the national mortgage is 7.23%, but this is what I want to do. Watch this. I don't even care about your rate. Don't worry about writing down the rate. Watch this. Let's go to 10%. Okay. We're going to do 10%. So let's go start over. 350 multiplied by 0.1. Let's do double digits. Why not? Let's do double digits. Okay. Now I want to go all the way back to our original example before I do the 350 and show you what I'm talking about. 0.06, right? Does that look familiar? Right? That is familiar, doesn't it? 12,000. That's actually the monthly payment, right? About the monthly payment for the house at $200,000 at 6%. But that's not what we want. That's not what we want at all. What we want is this. So I think it would be what? Around 3,500. I know that's astronomical. I know it's astronomical, but I'm going somewhere with this. So let me double check on my amortization. HP 10B2 here. Now listen, don't judge me. I got an iPad, but my phone is an Android. So there. We're gonna type in, and it needs to be 10%, guys. It has to be that, because I want to show you how powerful velocity banking is, just in case you don't know. Okay. All right. So look, 350 at 10%. Man, I was way off. $3,071.50. I know that's not what you're paying, right? But I want to show you something, and I want you to keep this in mind, please. All right. So $3,071.50. Original balance. Did we Did we change that? Okay, we did. We changed that. No, we're not gonna put that in there. We don't need anything else. We do have already everything that we need. All right. Now we changed it up. 350,000, right? At 10%, mind you, right? That's $3,071.50. $3,071.50. Okay. Now, up here it says your expenses exceed your available funds on November 2nd, 2028 by $200, only $68.98 available in other accounts. So you got until November 2nd, 2028. You got 5.3 years to come up with a game plan. Right? Right. Now, you said you had $80,000 in savings, right? Okay. All right. That's good. So let's look within here, see our accounts. We've got the Visa account, right? We've got the auto loan. We've got the HELOC. We've got the first mortgage, right? Now let's go to the accounts tab. Well, look at that. We got a savings account, y'all, right? All right. So what are we going to do with our savings account? We're going to edit it. Now here it says that thing is earning 4.35%. Yeah. Do you remember 4.35%? I actually looked at something. My mom gave me something when I was like 3 years old. She's like, boy, savings accounts was 14%. I said 14% and showed me the paperwork. I've got the paperwork to prove. At one point in time, they were yielding 14%. Well, look, today it's not yielding as much as that. Now, yours may, Wesley, yours may. But check this out, $80,000. We're going to say we got $80,000 right there in the savings account. All right? 80,000. We don't have to mess around with that. We want to make sure. All right. Now it says your expenses exceed your available funds on September 2nd, 2029. Guys, that's 6.1 years from now. With the change in a mortgage, right? And the change in savings, look at how much time you have to get that game plan together. Look at what it's doing on your action plan. It's telling you, hey, put that money that you got in savings, put that in the checking. And then that's how we're going to pay our mortgage. That's how we're going to pay our Visa. That's the HELOC, the first mortgage. Oh, and by the way, I didn't even mention the HELOC, right? Oh, I didn't even mention the first lien HELOC, right? Didn't mention that at all. But look at how long you have. You still got a game plan. Where's the worry? Where's the fear? Where is it, Wesley? Now Wesley's over there like, wait a minute, that's not my monthly income. Exactly. Exactly. I know it's not, right? That's a duplex, right? I didn't even put in the rental income, right? I'm just showing you, like, when I show people, I gotta put the worst possible scenario. I guess that's not the worst possible scenario, but the scenario, right, that is astronomical, so that I can show you the power of having a plan. This is 10%. It's not at 10% now. That's not the national. Do you see what I'm saying though? Yeah, but do you see what I'm saying? It's not 10%, it's 7.23. And who knows what the world would do if it was 10%. But look at just look at the power of having a plan, is what I'm talking about. You got September 2nd, 2029. You got until then, right? To find a renter, let's say. Now you got a duplex, right? You probably already have that rental income in there. Huh? Let's say they're paying $1,700. You know what? Let's say they're paying $1,000. Let's just put it in there. Do we have that already? Let's put that in there. I know. That's why I do this. I know it's unbelievable. Let's say they're just paying $1,000 each month, right? Let's say they're not going to start paying that until September, you know? What what next? And of course your action plan changed. What happened to our what happened to our exceeding? You're not exceeding anymore? So you just paid 350,000, right? Got the mortgage, got 80,000 in savings, the rental income of $1,000. You could probably charge more than that. Um, and you're going to pay that off in 9 years. Does that make sense? You're going to pay that off in 9 years. Look at your action plan. This is what you do. You're going to switch the checking to the first mortgage. You're going to take the money from savings to the Visa of this amount, right? It gives you the action plan for that month. So you log in, right? That month, you already have it for the whole month. Well, what if something changes? Just change that, and then your action plan changes. It's going to make sure that you're not only going to pay down the duplex in 9 years, with your 10% interest rate, right? But you're going to pay it off in 9 years. Okay, so that cash flow, that $1,000 can all come to you, and you'll have more of this. Because right now you have a little cushion of $118.09. See how beautiful that is? But it's called algorithm, right? It's called math. It's called knowing where to put the finances, so that we're not that concerned if we don't have a renter yet. Why? Because watch this. We don't have anybody renting it yet, and we're still paying, right? Let's go in there. Okay, we got the income here, right? We got the budget, we got the rental income, but what if that goes away? We'll delete it. Boom. There's no income. We're the ones that are paying for that. We got 6.1 years to find a renter. We got 6.1 years to find a tenant. Can you find a tenant in 6.1 years? Within 6.1 years, Wesley? Do you see what I'm saying? So it's showing you what to do. It's showing you how to move your money. It's showing you how to move your money. Notice what it's doing here. Do you know why it's saying savings the first mortgage? You know why it's saying that, don't you? You know why it's saying $69,561, huh? Because what happens when you chunk the principal? You chunk also the interest. It's showing you, hey, this is how you're going to be making sure that that duplex is safe for 6.1 years. Everything else is safe for 6.1 years. And this is how we're going to pay it all off, right? But when you get that tenant in there, and you get that 1,000, you get that $2,000, that $1,200, then you'll be 9 years. Let's put that back in there. Then you'll be 9 years till you pay off everything, Wesley. Let's just say we're doing that immediately. Okay. 9 years. So June 1st, 2032, you're paying off everything. And everything, I mean Visa, You're paying off the auto loan, you're paying off the HELOC, and you're paying off that high interest $350,000, 10% interest rate. That's not the interest rate. Okay. First mortgage. And I haven't even gotten to if you want another mortgage and another mortgage and another mortgage. Haven't even gotten there yet. So, folks, listen, I know you got to run. I just wanted to run that past you. We've got a whole lot more coming up. Please give me your examples. Give me your problems. We'll show you the answers. And we want you to set up an appointment with us so that we can talk more in depth. Wesley, I would love to get more in depth on that issue there for you so we can show you how small it is. All right. Listen, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you later. God bless. Have a great night. Go ahead and schedule a call with us. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be on the line with the G12 group. God bless and have a great night.